Hello, everybody. Welcome to Q&Angels. I am Stephanie Lodge. How are you? How is everybody doing today? I am so excited to have you here. And we have a lot going on in the world, and this is why I'm here. To kind of answer some questions from the angel angle, as I like to say, and really get us some clarity on current events, whatever your questions were from the Angelhood. For those of you coming in from the Angelhood, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of that collective. And if you're not familiar with the Angelhood, I would love to invite you there. You can join the Angelhood at theangelhood.com. Okay, so again, I am Stephanie Lodge. I am a quantum angelic advisor. I have been called many things, a Magdalene mystic, let's see what else, sovereign life coach or quantum light coach. And I work people through mostly the elevation of their frequency, their consciousness, and ultimately their living light. So what is the living light? What do I mean by living light? Well, living light to me is, oh gosh, everything. It's everything. It's the consciousness that creates all life, all that is love, all that is you, at the level of your soul, at the level of your heart, at the level of your cells, your DNA. Everything that you are starts as this frequency or this currency, the currents of source. So what I want to drop in on today with you is really what is going on in the world? Why are we seeing what we're seeing? How did we create this? Because we did. How can you discern between what is truth and what is fiction? Because there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation in the world right now, flying high, flying back and forth, flying low, dragging you down. So what I know is that we are in a massive reformatting of the quantum intelligence that surrounds us. We are in a massive upgrade, if you will, to the software and the hardware and every element of the intelligence that we are. And while we're going through this, it's not always easy. We're going to go through the pitfalls. We're going to go through the stumbles. We're going to go through the heartbreaks sometimes. And it's all designed for our highest good, no matter what. It's all designed for our highest, most generous soul growth. So Q&Angels started in 2013 when I was basically asked to essentially produce a panel of 9 experts on angels from around the world at a local expo here in Los Angeles called Conscious Life Expo. And when I was asked to do this, it was kind of a shock because I was really new on the angel scene, to be honest with you. And I really didn't know. I just said yes to the universe of yes, I'm going to fully step into this consciousness now. And as soon as I said yes, it was like, boom, powered by angels, off to the races. And I ended up developing Angels in the Buff podcast or radio show and blog talk. And I took callers and we did something called Awaken Angels eventually from that. And Q&Angels was kind of born within the Conscious Life Expo, but then eventually went online as a video series with a friend of mine, Sandra Biskine, for a few episodes. And then it just kind of went away. And then suddenly, recently, the angels brought it back. They said, don't you think it's time to bring Q&Angels back? I went, interesting. And the reason I say it's interesting is because obviously many of you know there is a certain currency, frequency running in the system right now called QAnon. And so I want to be very clear. I am not going to get into anything that is conspiratorial for a reason. And I'm going to invite you guys to just stay present with me and do your best to stay neutral. Because fundamentally what happens when we go into conspiracies, there is a frequency to that there is something conspiring against us. And the minute we give attention to that, the minute we become a partner with that, we become in relationship with it, we start to quantumly entangle with it, it begins to, how shall I say, drain our bank account. So I want to keep you guys fully charged. I want to keep you guys really high vibration. And I'm going to be taking some questions that came out of the Angelhood, and I want to say thank you to all of you who are tuning in live to get your answers. And I invite you again to go to theangelhood.com to ask the questions in advance for next month's Q&Angels, because these will be a monthly drop-in. So we might go a little long because of the fact that this is only once a month, and I want to make sure I get to the questions that were asked. But I want to first start by saying, whenever I work, whenever I tune in to the source, to the consciousness of my soul that it created, the creator of my life, I create a halo. So we're going to do that first. Now, what is a halo? Halos are harmonic aligned light optimization vehicles, or essentially the light that surrounds you as an energy field. All right. I also call them holographic assembly, a holographic assembly of light organization. So it's how you are organically organized in any moment. So there's kind of two ways to even look at halo. And we talked about this in my last live only a couple weeks ago called Angels 911. It was on 9/11, so you can always go back and get more information about halo there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to call in the frequencies of light. I'm going to call in my guides. I'm going to call in yours, and we're going to have some fun here and get started with what I call light streaming. All right, so here we go. I invite all of you to breathe into your heart. Okay, greetings and blessings, everybody. Let's get started into the heart. I call in all the light on my left. The light to my right. The light within my heart. Clearing, cleansing, releasing, and only calling the highest frequencies of light from above. And just anchoring into the stream of sound in this moment. Closing that field for a moment. And I invoke through the consciousness of my intention and the love that we are in this moment of now, the highest frequencies of living light, the angelic light streams, as well as the sovereign light nations and councils of the seraphim, the Ophanim, the Elohim, and the cherubim, and ask them to be present with us, creating a halo of high, high consciousness around us now. Each and every one of us individually and as a collective through all quantum time, space, and beyond. Feeling the presence of them coming into your field now. Breathe them into your heart. They are here. You may feel a palpitation like I do right now. And I'm just going to lean back a little bit. Calling forth Archangel Metatron to overlight us with the highest vibration of living light and ultimate love from all corners of the universe and beyond, the multiverse and beyond, from the source infinite field of pure potentiality, the divine Mother, Father, God, Goddess principle, the creators of our souls and our spirit. And as this energy comes into the field of now, I ask that it applies with grace and ease to everybody here all that they so richly deserve in every possible way, as infinite abundance, infinite joy, happiness, healing, and love. And as I call forth Archangel Raziel to administer the diamond light, the rainbow spectrum, and the rose gold frequencies of high immunity, take a deep breath and feel the presence of this intelligence enter your system now, inviting you to love yourself a little bit more in this moment of now, and love those who deserve love in this moment of now, and even those who you might see to forgive in this moment of now. We are loving them back into the wholeness of who they are right now in the quantum moment. There is only now. And as we breathe in, We assemble the platinum titanium light streams around our halo, and this serves as a barrier and a boundary to any static and distortion, anything that might interfere, cause nervousness or anxiety, anything that might cause us to question the trust in our heart, the knowing in our heart. Essentially a field shield, if you want to call it that. And the platinum is the immortal liberator of the sacred feminine or the sovereign feminine. And the titanium is the beautiful, powerful, sovereign power of the sacred, sovereign masculine. And they are in perfect union around you and through you in every way, bringing you into alignment with Source now. Harmonically aligning your halo, your holographic field, as well as your arcs, what many call chakras, I call arcs. Activating your archangelic template so that the purest, most refined currency or frequency of the living light, the diamond light, can flow into your heart now from above your crown and all the way down through every single energetic system or systems, down into and rooted into Mother Earth. I call forth Archangel Michael, safety and protection, the frequency of the sapphire light stream, to be present with us now, bringing forth all that brings us comfort and unconditional love. I call forth Archangel Raphael, asking for healing and grace and love as well, to administer anything and everything that is required in this moment to align us to the infinite, the intelligence that surrounds us with grace and ease. I call forth Archangel Gabriel to bring forth the conduits of the angelic light stream, the ascending and descending energetics, the inquiries, and the answers to come through clearly and effortlessly this evening, administering the system of love through my system, making me a pure and present channel and conduit of the living light. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Raphael. I call forth Archangel Uriel to ignite the light in each and every one present here, to harmonize our light, and to bring us into focused intention, collective collaboration, and to assist us in knowing that we are one. We are always only one, operating through many fractals of the infinite love as our heart, as it broadcasts and transmits throughout the universe, and as it settles into our central operating system known as the diamond heart here within us. And as I see each and every one of you gathering here and coming into our circle, I just want to have you imagine that we are sitting in council, an intimate circle, friends sharing with friends. And in front of us is a beautiful fire, and this fire is the violet fire. It is the flame of transmutation, transfiguration, and transformation, and elevation or ascension, however you want to see it. And as this flame burns in front of you, know that it is coming from a stream of light that is operating beneath you. And this stream of light, known as the violet light stream or amethyst light stream, I call it forth. And to help us administer it, I'm asking Archangel Zachiel and Lady Amethyst to be present and balancing both the violet and ultraviolet, cleansing, clearing, and releasing any static and distortion now. And as I call forth all of these angelic ambassadors of light, I open up the Christic gates, the gates of the solar highest states of Christ consciousness or the crystallized light. And I invite in the diamond tribes. These are the diamond angels, the diamond lions, and the diamond dragons or seraphim. I also call forth our friend Yeshua. You might know him as Yeshua or Jesus. but we call him Yeshua here. I call forth Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene to hold the Miriam or Mare master energy of the watchers, the watchtowers, the Magdalens, who are here observing and witnessing and making sure that everything is accounted for, everything is witnessed, everything is transparent and alive. And I call forth Grandmother Hannah for gifting us these beautiful energies of the Nazarenes, the mysticism, and the mastery as her immortal self comes in. Thank you, Anna. Just feel her mother and maternal energy coming in with healing green emerald light, very aligned to Raphael in this moment. Thank you. And as we open up the Christ gates, we invite the cosmic councils, the galactic councils who are here for the benevolence, elevation, and harmony of humanity. We only allow for the highest consciousness of living light and ultimate love to remain within our presence now. And I ask all of the appropriate dragon tribes, seraphim, as well as Archangel Michael to assist in escorting out any static and discord, anything that is interfering, anything that might get confused or cause distortion, so that we can maintain perfect clarity in this beautiful halo of love. Let's begin. Okay. So that gave us a little bit more time for everybody to join. I want to say thank you, Shishi. I see you. Hi, Rosemary. Thank you. Blessings to you. Hi, beautiful. Chiming in, Firenze. Hello, hello. Hi, hello. Hi, Stav. Hi, Khalifa. Everybody send Stav, my beautiful wing woman, some energy tonight. She's healing up. So just sending her a little energy. Love you, Stav. Okay, so I'm sure there's more here. I am not concerned. I know we're going to get more present, but I want to just ask you, where's your temp at? Where's your angel temperature at? We do this in my Halo group. My Halo is a private circle we do every week on Wednesdays, and do something very similar to what we just did, creating this vibrational field. But I want to kind of say this. We start by taking our measurement of frequency. So from 0 to 10, if you're watching live, where's your vibe at? Are you 10, like high vibration? Are you low, like a little bit concerned, like definitely wobbly? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Like, I'm kind of curious. Where's everybody at? Where are you coming in at? Hi, Ron. What's your temp? And that way I can get a kind of assessment of our overall present right now in this moment as I'm transmitting. Because of course, this is quantum work, okay? So this is always now. So if you're watching on demand, even years from now, this is still going to serve you. But I just kind of like to acknowledge everybody who brought their energy here, because we are collaborating and co-weaving this beautiful field together. Hello, beautiful numbers of 8s and 9s coming in. Hello, hi, Kiera, I see you. Number 10, hi. Hi, start with their 11 on, awesome. Holding some gate frequencies. Okay, so we'll just keep continuing to let them roll in, and I'll just keep glancing and seeing where you're at. But just know this, we're going to get it up. This is designed to get you up, right? This is the whole point. But what I want to say is, as I mentioned before we created the Halo, we are in a time of great, tremendous upheaval, as we know, okay? We're not going to focus on that, but we want to acknowledge that. And I call this time the crown of thorns, or sometimes the havoc, all right? Havoc is holographic, aggressive, violent, organized chaos or confusion, okay? And this is because everybody's stuff is up. We got a lot of people going, I'm getting triggered regularly, you know, and you can see it. If you ever watch the news, which I try not to, but I know some of you try not to as well, but sometimes it happens, or you hear things, and you hear about things that are atrocious or horrible, and you can't believe people are doing what they're doing right now. And it's because they're out of their mind. Literally, they're not driving their bus. They're not driving their car. They're not driving their vehicle, all right? And the reason for that is because they're coming from a reactionary, ego-driven state that is in polarized consciousness. The reason for that is because they are seeing and witnessing things that trigger deep core wounds that they haven't figured out how to transmute, release, or get rid of yet. And also, they are being pretty much recalling massive amounts of programming that have existed in their systems, not only in this life, but multiple lifetimes potentially. And so they're reliving these pains and traumas over and over, all right? And they keep getting triggered because anything you're watching, especially on the news, has an agenda, all right? It has an agenda to lower your frequency. It has an agenda to get you on their team. Whatever the agenda is, they have enormous amounts of people who are working diligently to get you over to their side. So we're kind of always in these gladiator wars. I talked about this on Angels 911 a bit a few weeks ago. Now, what I know is as we move through this, the angels are always here. The highest vibration is always here. The infinite consciousness that is constantly reformatting the state of what we're living in is always influencing us, but also improving our states if we allow for it. But if we're constantly plugging into what I call the havoc, just the chaos, let's just call it that too, we are getting drained. Again, like I said, your currency goes down, your bank account of love and joy and happiness gets sucked away. Okay, so what I feel mostly is important to address is a little bit what we call the Q, the quantum. So we're looking at a lot of interference right now, and I'm going to say the corruption is both sides of all equations of duality. If you are in a dualized consciousness, if you believe there's an us and a them, if you believe there's a right and a wrong, if you are believing in all of these states, you are still not operating from harmonic alignment. You are one side or the other, then you are going to be in judgment of the other side, is basically the best way to say it. Now, of course, there's going to be degrees of what is good and bad. We know this. I mean, we live in this all the time on Earth. But what I'm talking about is the extremes. And this is where we get really dangerous. When we give attention to that which we don't like and judge it, we are still giving our attention to it. Therefore, we're still giving our energy to it, and therefore it's draining us. So this is just a repeat a little bit of 911. So I just want to say, go back and watch Angels 911 if you want to get the full scoop on that. But what did come through, and part of why I call this Q&Angels, is because one of the greatest disruptors right now is something called QAnon. And it's anonymous. It's the unseen, okay? And people have a lot of opinions about it. And it's creating a lot of discord. So I want to get really clear on this, so that people can understand what it is really designed to do, which is discernment. That is what its design is. Quantum discernment. Okay. And Anon, if you look in the etymology of Anon, it means in one, or in one moment. All right. So it's just a moment and then it's gone. So when we're looking at the anonymous in general, there's the anonymous too. There's another group called Anonymous. I mean, they're all coming out of the woodwork, all right? And all of them, whatever you look at as conspiratorial, is still going to keep you in an idea of there's something conspiring against you or conspiring for you. These are your options. My feeling and my gut instinct on all of this is it's all going to lead us to understanding our systems better. It's all going to lead us to better discernment. It's all going to surprise us, and what we believe and what we think we know, it's going to get flipped on some levels. So we're all going to go through a little bit of like, oh my God, right? Or oh my angels. So there is no absolute truth right now. And I've said this many times through other programs I've done. We're in kind of a vortex system of rotating, spiraling timelines. And it's like trying to grab a timeline and saying, this is the truth and this is what it's going to be for sure, is a fool's errand. Because fundamentally there's multiple timelines and it's anybody's guess which one's going to land. Because, why? Because our consciousness right now is getting pulled in so many different directions of confusion and disarray. And that is by design. That is keeping us focused on one outcome that is the elevated version of us, that is the highest joy of us. All right. So I'm just putting this out here because it's such an important message to remember not to give your authority away to anybody. Never to give your authority away to anybody. You have the highest authority. Claim it. Know it. Own it. If there are spiritual teachers and leaders out there who have been giving you good advice over the years, at this moment of now, they could be bringing in like 90% good stuff, but there's still a 10% like cyanide in the juice kind of thing going on that could potentially be there. So you still have to use discernment. I want you guys to be very clear on this. Use discernment. How do we know? Tune in your heart. Does it bring you joy? Does it make you feel good? Does it uplift you? Does it inspire you? Does it empower you? If it does not answer those questions in a yes, in an affirmative, throw it away. If at any moment it drops you into a lower based frequency, throw it away. If at any moment it puts your attention on things like demons and Satan and Lucifer and dark force energies and all the boogeyman things, okay, and deep states and cabals and Illuminatis and all these things, if it puts your consciousness, and please be in mind, we're in a halo, I can give you this information, we are pristine, but I'm giving you this information because it's important for you to discern, and I'm just trying to give you a little bit to what to look for. If it puts you in any of these discordant frequencies, it is an outdated system. It is no longer valid. It is an older paradigm that is falling away. It's going away. And if you keep putting your attention to it, it's like you're calling it back saying, no, stick around. We don't want it to stick around. It needs to go. Just let it go. So whenever that stuff comes up, the sticky stuff that doesn't make you feel good, that puts fear in you, let it go, turn the channel, change it, go back into your breath, go into your prayer work, do what you got to do to connect you to your light. That's it. It's very simple. All complicated, highly mental, organized systems that are really mental, that make you just keep shuffling things through and keeping you very much caught up in your mental, are depressive systems, okay? They are draining your mental juice, putting you in depressed states. So this is the most important answer to a lot of questions I got for Q&Angels. I'm kind of giving you answers to a bunch of different questions that kind of came through all at once, but it depresses the system, which aligns you to what? This virus that we've been having running around, which is a depressant as well. So your immune system then is more aligned to the virus. So your job is to get your frequency up, therefore your immune system up. And then you are immune and impenetrable to anything trying to come into your system, because it will try to come in through all sorts of angles right now. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of people creating fear right now, and they're all co-creators just like you are, but they're not conscious about it. So they're driving into walls, they're driving into things with their vehicle, they're doing all sorts of stuff that's not normal. All right, let's be honest. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. And so we who are tuned into this moment of now are coming together to anchor and hold harmonic light. The normal, the rational, the love-based, the heart-centered, right? Because if we're going into the insanity a little bit, and the chaos, we're taking part in it. And we keep bringing it in. Keep inviting that vampire into the house. Hey, come on. Drink up. No, don't do it. Stop it. So we're taking our authority back, guys. This is basically the bottom line. We're not giving our power away to anybody, including the angels and Christ and Jesus or Yeshua or Yeshua, however you want to call him. I would say go with his heart-centered name, the one that he would have answered to in his human form, which is Yeshua. But we can't give our power away anymore. We have to own it. We have to know we are creating this. And anything that has been caught up in the dogma, anything that has been coming through religious angles, that's all getting dismantled. We are coming even into the understanding of angels as liberated from their hierarchical, personified beings and coming into the master conscious frequencies they are. They're quantum frequencies of light that are informing everything that you are. So you want to come into the highest majesty and mastery of that. That's what it is. And if you're still holding small, it's because your little child is still not certain. And that's okay. That's okay. What you do in those moments is you find a wing person, a wing woman or wing man. Find your wing woman, wing man, wing angel, whatever. You find someone to be an accountability partner to practice with. All right, because it takes time to get out of the programs. So I want to get into why programs. Why do I bring up programs? Everything we live in is informing us with intelligence. We are in a living, moving virtual reality, right? And yet you are redesigning the game, so to speak, if you want to think of it like a game, as you're playing it. And I've used this analogy many times. You are the player and you are the one moving your avatar through the game, right? You're both. So it's important to get aligned to the player as well as your own heart of moving through the game, because this is the human part of you that moves through the game and is like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. The minute you say, I don't know what to do, you're telling your higher self to go away. It's like, I don't need you. Instead of it's wanting to come into your heart, because it is the knowing. It is the genius. It is the genes of your isness that wants to come through you. Now, what I know in this moment is I want to get to some questions. And if there's more that wants to come through on demand from the angels, because they've been on fire a little bit tonight, as you can imagine, excited about today, I will. But the questions I'm going to come to, I think will get kind of interesting. So I want to get to them. But I do want to say this. Please, 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 please. If you are in judgment of anyone or anything, you are operating in the states of misery, the states of fear, the states that you might call the hell states sometimes, right? Purgatory, in the sense of not a big barbecue you're going to go to. No, it's just you're sitting in muck. Your heart is literally just covered in mud if you are still judging anybody, and I mean anybody, including a certain person in the Oval Office right now. Anybody. You have forgotten who you are, you are separated from your source, and you're still buying into the illusion of the virtual reality more than you know who you are, more than you know why you came. Angel, Master, I'm speaking to you. If you are still buying into the programs, reel it back, come back into the heart, go back into the love, focus on your intention of grace, of love, of healing, of health, all beings surviving and thriving, more than surviving, thriving through this. Because right now, too many people are plugged into the chaos. And I'm going to speak out to the spiritual leaders and conscious leaders out there. If you are perpetuating a fear-based scenario in order to feed on the energies of others, consistently over and over and over, daily, weekly, whatever, to keep them tuned in and subscribers up and whatever you're doing, I really implore you to stop. Okay? I implore you to stop doing that, because you are perpetuating narratives that we don't need. We don't need those narratives. We don't need the narratives of let's try to figure out what the boogeyman's doing. We need the narratives of let's see what our world deserves and what we want to create. That is what we need more of. So I invite all of you to level up, please. Okay? Please. It's time. You can get out of the scarcity consciousness. You can get out of the I need to feed energy, and you just give your love. You be of service and watch all the abundance come to you that you require to support this elevation of Diamond Earth. What I call Diamond Earth is this new Earth that we're all going into, and we know this. But some of you are like, yes, 90% there, and then you throw in this 10% special sauce that I haven't quite figured out why. And I can only imagine that there's still some fear going on that doesn't quite trust. All right. So I'm just asking you guys, please do the work. Please, please, please do the work. I'm not perfect. I'm still doing the work. But I know enough to be witnessing some stuff going, wait, please, I implore you, you are too important and your messages are so good as a rule. But if you're throwing in this little energy in there, just check it and make sure, guys, if you are the ones watching, if someone is not putting up some type of prayer field, like I did before we got started, really, right? I gave you guys some time to gather, and then I got the halo going right away at the top. If you're watching any broadcast that does not have a form of prayer or intention or setting a boundary or however you want to look at it, they don't do that during these times, check out, please. Not appropriate for you to be in. Because anyone who is really operating from the living light frequencies, they will always set harmonic alignment for you to be aligned to that and aligning themselves and setting that boundary of interference so that they don't get interfered. Because especially if they're channels and streams, if they are having stuff come in, and especially if they're live, their message is coming through, but it's very possible to slip into there some stuff that just doesn't serve as a transmission of consciousness or subconscious frequency. So I'm just being really, 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 really direct, because it's time to be really direct. All right. We don't have, we gotta kind of get with this already. All right. I hope that makes sense. All right. So let's go to the questions. Thank you, angels. Michael gets a little fierce sometimes. His dragon energy comes up, and we're going to talk about dragons too. And I'm going to take some of these questions and kind of get rid of, I guess, some of the illusions around these mythologies. It's going to be interesting. All right. So first and foremost, there was a question. Again, these came out of members of the Angelhood. So I want to thank all of you for submitting your questions in advance. So I had some time, because when we're live, I just want to be efficient, right? So I did ask the angels, of course, and I will expand on these, of course, as we go. So one question was around staircases. This was interesting. The question was, there is Jacob's ladder, angels ascending and descending. What is the purpose, intent, and need for staircases when angels can fly? And I thought this was such a fun question. But I'm going to say, firstly, most of Scripture, if not 90% of Scripture, is metaphorical, right? Allegorical, things like that. And Jacob's ladder is actually representing your DNA, all right? The double helix spiral staircase, essentially, that have codons or rungs, all right? And the ascending and descending energetic frequencies that come onto the DNA as antenna are essentially the communication system. So the DNA of your system is your communication system. It is your angelic bridge nature. And so the angels ascending and descending are essentially kind of expressing the idea that these are degrees of elevating or descending consciousness. And the inquiries or our questions are as angelic messages going up, and then they're going up into the consciousness, and the answers are coming down, and they're coming back down from source into us. So it's really just an allegory of ascending and descending into our states of consciousness, or the multidimensional aspects of who we are. All right, so that's the best best way to explain that. So it's not about them flying. The flying elements, I guess you could say, are really just to be aligned to the idea that we are able to rise up and get the bird's eye of things. We're able to go into higher states or angel angles onto things versus always getting into the details, the forest and the trees, so to speak. Okay. Another question that came in was about gateways. Are there good gateways or evil bad gateways? What is the purpose of gateways? Can they be shut and opened? And I understand that we are also gateways ourselves, but I don't know how that all works. Great question. So I'm going to tell you what the angel said earlier, and I'll see how I can expand on this. So gateways are portals. Think of a positive side and a negative side of a battery. One pushes out and one receives. So there's this energy that goes kind of back and forth. So it's not about evil as much as what is pulling from a system or energy and what is supplementing it. So what is pushing in or pulling out of something. You might also see a black hole pulls energy into it, and the white hole behind it is really like a sun pushing the energy out on the other side, but we don't see that from the black hole perspective, okay? And so that light source is pushing out. Now, the sun, in essence, is the exit of a black hole, and therefore it is a gateway, all right? The sun is a form of gateway within our solar system that receives the information and other elements that come through it as living light or information, and then it disseminates this information. So it's receiving information and disseminating information. You can shut and open smaller portals, smaller suns, like your arcs or your chakras, as people refer to them. I'm going to say why I don't call them chakras, because you're shocking your Ra, and your Ra is your energy light body, essentially. So it's just a subconscious thing in the English language that doesn't work for me. So we reframed it. Anyway, okay, so you can shut and open smaller portals or gates within your own biological system, and even in a home, such as mirrors or black screens, like your computer screens, your TV screens, things like that. And I would suggest doing that with a form of intentional prayer, some Palo Santo, and to seal those spaces from being entry points or exit points, okay? you can seal these spaces so that no informational exchange occurs. And we are gateways as well, like we get to address that part of the question, in the sense that each cell of our being that holds DNA exhibits a form of data exchange. So again, remember Jacob's ladder concept. And it could even be seen as a wormhole or dimensional gate also. So ultimately, if we are holding the right frequency of vibration to activate our DNA, to open up our multidimensionality, then we could travel or time travel through all of our cells aligning to a location and quantum jumping or biolocating to that location. So that's essentially how we become wormholes within ourselves and ourselves, right? And therefore we can quantum leap. This is a skill of soul technology, by the way, that only a handful of individuals on the planet have ever had and currently have, such as Aboriginals. And these are like master shamans, masters of the quantum that can do this and are capable of executing this. And there's been stories about this where someone will, I read it in a book once actually, not too long ago, where they were talking about meeting an Aborigine, and they said, oh, I'll see you in the city. Well, do you want to jump in the car? Oh, no, I'll meet you there. And when the car got there, they were there already, and they didn't have a vehicle. So how'd they get there, right? So they explained that's what they did. So they can pass through. They can pass through the dimensions very easily. So this technology is returning to us. Essentially, it's kind of been lost, except for those key holders like the Aboriginals. And I would just say that it's going to be returning. So get ready. All right. On dragons, here we go. Dragons coming in. Are there good and evil dragons, and what is their intent and purpose? All right. Everything within creation outside the 0-point source field is in a polarized state as consciousness of living light, as we discussed, including angels and dragons. But it is not seen as good or evil until it is given a story or narrative from our human perspective. So we place upon and project upon these things. Something is bad or good, right? And we come up with all sorts of stories about it. Now, unfortunately, because we are co-creators of source, because we can create, we do create thought forms and energy forms and entities and things that can hold a very dense low vibration. I wouldn't call it evil because I don't put really energy to that word specifically. The absence of live is just anti-life. You might call it anti-life, right? So the anti-life energies are just inverted energies that have been essentially created by accident. That's the best way to say it. So are there fallen angels? Only because people have believed in them and have given them energy. And if you believe in fallen angels still, you're still once again, going through an old paradigm system that is falling away, because angels truly are just neutral consciousness. And the information they deliver to you, you might not like, but it doesn't make it evil, okay? It doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it fallen. It doesn't make it denser. If anything, people will believe that we are the fallen angels. And you can kind of think of that only because we are incarnated into denser form or matter, and we can then elevate back up into a higher state or higher vibration. So we are antimatter. We're out of matter, okay? But I really don't buy into any of that mythology, I'll be honest with you. And it's a very dogmatic philosophy that is designed to keep us small and disempowered and in fear. And I don't buy into that. Okay, so I'm just going to be really clear for you guys. What you believe, you conceive, you create, and you draw into you. And my belief does not allow for things of that design. So I'm just being really clear on that, okay? So what I would say is, there are beings of humanity that give their power into streams of consciousness that you may call dragons, that they direct in a way that is against life. But you can always trace it back to a human design, all right? You will always trace that back to humans operating from the desire for egoic power and persuasion. And these are mythologies and these are stories that we've created to keep us in check, keep ourselves and our own power in check. But now we are liberating ourselves, okay? Now, the let's see, what did I say earlier? Because this just came in now. So let's see what I said earlier. Okay, what some call fallen angels or an extension dragons are just larger governors. Oh, dragons as just larger governors of energy that destroys and creates through informational exchange are not evil. Again, dragons are just broader bandwidth. I want you to think of them as just broader, larger currents. Like think like bolts of lightning as an archangelic. It's like a dragon is the whole lightning storm. Okay, it's the best way to say it. And so they manage and they govern more space, more information. So they would be like a terabyte drive in a computer versus a jump drive, right? It's the best way to say it. Okay. There are elevated frequencies that create, and there are descended or inverted frequencies such as gravity that deconstruct or draw down, right? So it's just part of creation when we are in a polarized world playground called Earth. But I will really invite you to let go of the stories of anything's evil and out to get you, all right? Anything's anti-you, except understand if you are feeling those frequencies around you, if you're experiencing those frequencies around you, then that means that you're buying into them. That means there's a program in your system that needs to be cleared and cleansed and released and revealed and resolved. And then you need to restore. Okay, so there's some processes here. But just know that that's very easy to do. It's not complicated. Keep it simple. All right. What else? All right, so this is what came through. These conscious intelligences can be used or harnessed by humans to uplift or disrupt the overall collective consciousness through amplification of their intensity or power by adding more energy as our conscious intention to them, kind of like what I said earlier. The only devils or demons are of our own making, therefore. Same with destructive dragon energy. It is a lower intention that is just used for massive warfare or disruption, but equally there are massive amounts of energy of love that you would call the seraphim or dragons of light to counterbalance anything opposite to them. So this is what's really important. Whatever you're tapping into, like I've worked with angels and archangels for a long time. And then the dragons came on board. I'm like, what are the dragons about? But it was because I was accessing my seraphim nature, which was a broader bandwidth. So now I had access to larger currents of frequency at the same time, right? And then I learned how to regulate that so I wouldn't burn out my suit, so to speak, okay? But I have burned out my suit in the past many times trying to figure that out. I've burned out some adrenal glands, I burned out, stuff. I mean, it happens, okay? So we got to be careful in moving to our suit, to our vehicle. But to get back to the dragons, the purpose of them is to serve as an archetype of power and wisdom to hold larger fields of consciousness. And kind of like countries or planets, or anything that's designed at a broader universal level. So if you think of dragons as large volumes of high vibrational frequency that can hold a larger holographic field for an entire planet in place, that's what they do. So if you go back to even the mythologies of dragons, there are lines around the planet that people talk about called ley lines. The ley lines are where the dragons laid down. These are the dragon lines. They're also called dragon lines. You can look it up. And so this whole dragon system called Earth has a lot of ancient vibratory energy. And it's been built and stacked upon over eons. And we're just clearing it up. We're peeling away the layers. And so what we're seeing rise up in the collective is all these layers. Slavery, trafficking of humans coming up, right? All that's coming up. Disproportionate inequality of gender, that's coming up. Any abuse of power, trespassing against another, that's coming up. All sorts of things. We won't go through the list. But the point is, we're peeling away all of that and letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. But it has to be revealed to be healed. It has to be acknowledged to be released. So just know, as it's going, just wave it goodbye. Bye. Oh, look at all that racism going out the door. Instead of going, look at all the racism and getting involved. Now, there are people who will have to do that. I'm going to be honest. There are people who are going to have to work on their own soul wounds or something that relates to them specifically in their life that they need to heal, that they might have to engage in that vibration and narrative, and that's okay. And we don't judge it. But my point is, if it doesn't involve you, if it doesn't hurt you, if it doesn't directly come at you, don't go into it. That's all I'm saying, just to clarify that, okay? Because again, you're giving it your energy, and your energy is precious, it is powerful, and it is potent. And I want you to treat it as such, please. Keep it guarded like a precious child. And like, where do I want to put this? Where do I want to invest my frequency in? I want to invest it into more love. I want to invest it into children thriving and the rest. All right? That's how I see it, at least. Again, not to not to be an angel boss right now. I'm just more of like inviting you strongly to consider. Okay. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Let's see. Next question. Someone said that the good has already won. I'm feeling certain energies from powerful light workers, or should I say popular light workers. There is a disillusionment that I'm feeling as it appears that darkness could be in play in some of their messages. Okay, so this is what I was speaking to earlier. I am trusting my guides and my protective halo. Clearly, they're an angel head member. I'm steering towards the hood. Yes, the angel head mostly. I know I have asked quite a bit about this, but I guess as the timeline shifts, I'm feeling it more. So how do I, as a student in alchemy, make sure that I'm connecting to the highest guides in human form? This is interesting. So this is kind of saying what I said earlier. So just ask certain questions of discernment. How does it make you feel? If it lowers your vibration, check out. If it's just a lot of talking heads going back with their speculations and their theories, and they just keep throwing back and forth, it's ego feeding. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just them wanting to be seen and like, look at what I know. And it's a lot of that. Or they're sharing genuine information to inform you and guide you. That's great. But take what works for you. And then I would say, if something comes into your system, run violet light on it and just clear it out, zap it like a bug zapper. Or you can also just hit cancel clear in your mind, or does not compute. Does not compute, right? Does not come into your system. So that is my advice to you on that, all right? Again, everyone's doing the best they can. I know the intention is always good. Not always, but mostly. All right, thank you. Correction, mostly. But no one's perfect. Everyone has filters. Everyone has programming of their childhood, their parents, the bullying they received, whatever. They have wounds. And that's going to inform the vessel, and that's going to inform the DNA, and that's going to inform the signals, and that's going to inform the light that comes through and out their mouth as a transmission. And if they haven't done enough work on detoxing their own systems, then the transmission is going to be a little faulty, is the best I can say. And again, no one's perfect. We're not demanding perfection, but we are demanding integrity. We are demanding, or asking for, let's say, demanding is a little harsh, clarity. We are asking for certainty. Don't share anything you're not absolutely 100% certain about. Because the problem with speculation, which is theory, is that you keep grabbing at straws out of that vortex I mentioned, that spinning cyclone of timelines, saying this one looks like it could happen. Let's do this one. Everybody on board for this one? Let's do this one. And then you create a timeline that aligns to something that you might not even like, but it sounds really good. Why would you do that? So this is kind of what's happening. This is kind of what's happening. And I'm seeing a lot of it. And I love everybody for their hearts. And I know they want to help, but I am a little concerned because it's gotten a little bit too much. And yeah, it's chasing the light, the popular light, the ego light, the narcissistic light. You might call it spiritual narcissism. A lot of labels for it. No need to judge it. It's just understanding it. It's inner knowing it and making sure you hold your highest authority, make decisions for yourself, and don't give your power over to anybody, especially if they're putting you into a construct of fear or what could happen that is really entangled and dense, is the best way to say it. Or confusing. It gets too confusing. But now if you're also coming from a place of extreme judgment, where you just throw everybody out and you're just judging, that's something to check into also, by the way. You really want balance. You want to take what works and leave what doesn't. You want to kind of maybe gather a little information, sit with it, pray on it, go into your own self-assertiveness and knowing, and really work on that. if you don't have that yet, okay? Or borrow, get a wing woman. You know, I actually have found that, for me at least, even, I don't just trust my own knowing. Like, I go into my knowing. I'm like, okay, this is what I feel. This is what I'm getting. And I'll check with a couple friends who I know have pretty, good clarity too. I'm like, what do you feel on this? What do you get out of this? And I triangulate it now. I don't even go twice. I go 3 times at least. I triangulate, because everything's so fractal. Everything's so multifaceted and multidimensional. It's a lot, even for someone like myself. And that's okay. We're human. We're doing the best we can because we're still in the game a little bit. We're in this virtual reality. So just make sure you are doing what you can to alchemize yourself. Like, no matter what you're consuming as information and programs of consciousness, if they don't feel loving, if they don't feel like just coming in ease and gracefully and easily, right? Just loving, halo up, okay? And clear, pulse out, do some alchemy of light. And if you don't know how to do that, angelicacademy.com is your best friend right now. The other thing I'm going to say on this that just came in, my angels informed me, and I'm like, yeah, I should probably talk about that. Hold on, I'm just tuning in to get it calibrated. No? Yeah, it's coming. It's interesting. It came in and it slipped out, so we'll wait. Okay, let's just get back to the questions. So hopefully that answered. You want to connect to the highest guides in you. You connect to your own angelic nature. You connect to your source, the creator, prime creator of your soul. That is your highest source, always. You ask to connect to your creator, period. Anything else is like asking a neighbor, right? So just connect in and ask for guidance. Does this serve me? Ask the question. Wait for the answer. Does it serve me to be plugged into all this frequency of energy, of intel? A lot of intel coming in, all right? All right. Oh, let's see. Are angels actually ourselves in other times, quantumly speaking to us from past and future? That's a great question. Thank you for asking. Yes and no. There are absolutely aspects of you that are fractals of you, that are multidimensional versions of you, that are going to communicate to you, to assist you, especially if you're open to that. And you can quantum leap to them and back and forth and do all sorts of really wonderful things during meditation and or during dream time. But there is no past and future. There's only now. So they're all around you now, okay? But it's just their experience of the now is different than yours. And they are potentially masters, but they're also potentially just spirit guides and aspects of you in human form that are learning in their moment of now. And so you can align to them and you can assist each other and heal different things. So this is something I teach more in Healonetics, my healing program. But what I would say is the angels that you are, there are angels that you are, come through you, through your DNA. They're broadcasting through you. And I teach something called angelic, or working with your angelic dream keys, Diamond Dream Alchemy, which is awakening your own key systems, your DNA, so that you are dreaming awake new realities. And you are always in the present moment, in the 0 point creative space, so that you're not in victim consciousness. You're not like, what's going to happen? You're always kind of in an assembly of harmony with whatever's happening. So you're holding like a hyper neutrality, really. And when you're in that 0 point, you have direct connection. And in that, you absolutely can connect to what you would call the first light of your soul. And you might call that your angelic soul. So this is why I call your angelic soul keys very important in this lifetime, because that will give you the signals or the degrees of consciousness that you decided to come in with to work on as a human, and where your origins are. All right, so your divine origins or sacred origins, as I prefer to say. So in essence, yes, your angels are you, guiding you because you are angelic by design. So that's my understanding. Everything has an angle of consciousness. All right. And that's what that means. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Over the years, we have lost 3 precious jewelry items. Can we ask angels to retrieve them without it impacting upon the past, present, and future? Meaning, what if someone found the friendship ring and now it has significant value to them? So this is what came in earlier. I actually answered this question earlier. Some of these were earlier. So we lose material items because of our over-attachment to the material in the first place. It is a lesson in letting go of that material. So just understand, anything that is not in your material possession anymore, it's because it was actually possessing you. It was becoming too much like an attachment, and it's keeping you tethered or bound down to something of the material. And you should be in flow. You should be able to kind of go and just not get too attached to things when you are in high vibration. Now, of course, as humans, we get attached to our homes, we get attached to our pets, we get attached to our families. So it's like, wait a minute, I get attached to all sorts of stuff. Of course, you're going to be in a relationship with things. But in the material realm, when it comes to things of a, how should I say it, something you purchase, okay? Just know that when they let go of you, when they leave you, there's either an energy of density in them that doesn't want to be in your field anymore because you vibrated out of their consciousness, because everything is consciousness of frequency. Everything comes from frequency. Everything comes from this energy of the sacred. So just know that living light frequency in it got too dense for you. And it might have lessons for someone else and it goes away, or it just might go into nothing. It might just disappear. I know that sounds weird, but it does. So you can ask for your angels to bring it back in the sense of nothing's lost in the mind of universal consciousness. Nothing is lost in the infinite consciousness. Please present yourself if it is safe and appropriate to do so. And you can do something like that, right? Nothing's lost in the mind of intelligence, that is Source God, right? And if it shows up, it shows up. If it's meant to come back to you, it will. And I've had this happen to me many times where things have left me for a period of time and then they show up again. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it, I found it. And that's because something energetically in that was entangled with you that wasn't appropriate. That's how I understand it. If it felt precious to you in the first place, I want you to kind of think of like precious, Gollum, Lord of the Rings, right? That possessiveness. Oh, precious, right? No, just let go. Know that you'll find other joy, other things. If it was attached to a loved one, sometimes we have heirlooms, their energy and attachment to their energy in that way was no longer serving you. And that's usually why they take their items back, because they'll do that too. Spirit's really wild that way. All right, so I'm going to come into the live stream for a moment and see if there's any live questions. Since we've been talking from the pre-questions, I want to give those attending live a chance to ask their questions based on what we've been talking about a little bit maybe, or something new. Just keep it kind of universal. Those will be the questions I take first. If there's anybody who wants to ask something right now on demand, you're welcome to. And if you don't, that's okay too. I just figured I'd offer it up because we're going to be wrapping up here soon. So I just want to come into the live and honor all of you. But I felt that some of these pre-questions were kind of interesting and would suit the group. And I felt, why not? So I'm going to give you guys some time to type. And what I'm going to say as well is I'm so honored and I'm so blessed to have you here. And I want to say I have not been live on YouTube for a while because YouTube has been a little dense, a little chaotic, a little bit under the gun, I guess you could say, under just this energy that hasn't felt good. I also want to speak to color as frequency for a minute. If you are getting programs coming into your consciousness and they have a lot of red, then know red is an activator and it's going into your sub immediately to not traumatize the sub, but get it grounded into the sub. It wants to push it into the sub. And red is that kind of warring energy. It's the blood energy. There's a lot of energy around red that has to do with programming. So if you look at any news stations and they tend to use predominantly red graphics, beware. All right, there's an agenda to that, okay? And it is not sovereign and clear and clean. There's something in that that is human design that is here to try to influence you. Just be aware, okay? Be aware. That's what aware means. Just be aware so that you can transmute it. You can transcend it. Now, transmutation, what I invite, and again, you guys ask a question if you need, but transmutation is like to clear and cleanse and alchemize. What I do when I watch any television, because there's always stuff coming in, whether it's advertisements. I mean, think about all the pharmaceutical ads that are like basically programming you to get sick later down the road. I mean, whatever, cancel, clear that. But my point is, whenever you are watching anything and something comes in and it hits your system, and you'll know it hits your system because you react. It gets your attention. If it gets your attention, right, it's really getting pummeled with certain frequencies. And usually you want to look at the graphics of the living light, which are images. That's what light language is in a sense. You want to immediately turn on your eyes. How do you turn on your eyes? May all that I gaze upon be blessed. Stop if you want to write that for the class. May all that I gaze upon be blessed. All right, this is something that came through back in 2016. I was in London doing some grid work, and as I was traveling the streets of London, I was looking around, and it was just getting a lot to do the grid work. And Yeshua came in, Yeshua, and he said, "I'm going to teach you something, sister." I said, "All right, let's go. What are we learning?" He says, "I want you to look at all the windows and all the buildings, and I want you to imagine light coming from your eyes, and I want you to imagine that everything you gaze upon is neutralized through the blessing of your eyes, that it's neutralized and brought to the 0 point. It's brought to complete clarity and cleaned and cleared of any dimensional static and distortion." I said, "All right, how do I do that?" Just may all that I gaze upon be blessed. That turns them on, and you start gazing. You start looking. You start watching. You start witnessing. And it was really interesting, because what I realized then is I was consciously going around the city, just gazing around the city. Everything I looked at was getting alchemized, was getting cleared. And it wasn't that much longer that there were some massive shifts going on in London. So just know, we are always working our frequency, working our light. Frequency comes first. I always tell my Halo group, put on a post-it around your house, frequency first, okay? So if your frequency is sad, okay, not feeling good, we all have those days, all right? It's okay. Put on some music that can help your frequency. Put on some of 432 hertz, 528, whatever. Get something going into your frequency field to supplement your frequency. Look at pleasant pictures. I'm going to give you guys something tonight. In fact, I'm going to do some visual frequency in a minute. But just remember, you are so powerful, and it's very easy to set the intention regularly, but it's all about regularity. I'll be honest, like practicing regularly is important. You don't go to the gym and lift weights once a month and get buff like, He-Man, whatever, Schwarzenegger. You have to go regularly, right? You got to put in the work. So it's the same thing with spiritual mastery, if you will, right? It's the same. You have to put in the work. And there's different tools to do that. There's different processes to do that. But I'm going to get to one of the questions that came in. Hi, Pamela. Hi, love. Okay, so how do you clear the auric field? Okay, so how do you clear your halo, right? First of all, it's acknowledging you have one, right? Got to acknowledge it. And you can visualize it. Visualization, the imagination station of visualization, really important. I just cleared yours, and I know that because I just had a burp. So I came in and cleared yours, Pamela, just by that question. You're welcome. All right, so we go into the visualization of our halo, right? Excuse me for burping, by the way. And you want to visualize the diamond light frequency first. Okay, diamond light is what the halo is, kind of like this prismatic light. It's plasma energy. It exists in your bloodstream. It exists in your light stream. All right, this is the bridge, the plasma energy. Okay, it informs argon as an element around you, Every time you inhale, you are inhaling argon. Argon is like the capturing agent of all intelligence that has ever been exhaled on this planet by any incarnated vessel that is breathed in and has certain masteries and exhales and goes into the argon. So you are literally breathing the energy or light of Buddha, of Yeshua, of any master teacher on the planet. Lucky us, right? Now, when you breathe out the light, and you see it going into your halo, right? You see it going into this frequency around you, and you continue to visualize it getting whiter and whiter and clearer and clearer and clearer until it's 100% clear. Maybe it has a few sparkles to kind of indicate that there's something there, all right? But ultimately, I call it diamond light, not white light, but diamond light for a reason. Because diamond light is the light that is kind of like the next level consciousness. This is like the hyper massively intelligent, but super neutral that we are going into. So that is what you want to inform your halo with, first and foremost. Now, if you're looking to get very clear of something that maybe feels toxic in your system, meaning that's like what I would call like just taking the Swiffer off really quick. If you really want to do alchemy, then what I normally suggest people to do is running three different frequencies through the body: the ultraviolet, violet, and diamond. You can get a meditation on my website right now, angelicacademy.com, and that will run you through that process. So you can find that there, Pamela. And you just sign up for the Sovereign Source newsletter to do so. You'll get that download. Now, what I do know is just a pinch. All right, you can throw platinum up, just clearing your system. Platinum is like taking out Excalibur, the sword, but without the violence, okay? And it disentangles and it liberates you from any entanglement with any toxicity that is around you, frequency-wise. When we understand that everything starts with frequency, that informs everything, all the stories, all the narratives, all the subconscious beliefs, programs, things that are trapped emotions, stuck in the cells, issues in the tissues, whatever you want to call it. When we start to continuously work with frequencies, they will clear that out. All right, they will. And these are angelic frequencies I'm talking about, not just standard frequencies, but angelic frequencies, which I teach. Then they will clear that out. But we have to come into that place of knowing it might take a minute. Patience is a virtue for a reason, all right? Okay, you're so welcome. Well, this has been beautiful. I know we're going to wrap this up, and I want to give you guys a gift. And this gift is the secret language of light. I'm going to throw this up really quick. Okay, you guys can take a little screenshot if you want. And I want to say a blessing for all of the light workers that have been on path and have been sharing their wisdom and doing their best to share their truth, to share their consciousness, and have been taking the hits. Okay? I've been inside the angel head. I've been inside a private social network I created as of January, right before we all went into lockdown on purpose, because I didn't want to be in the fray of Facebook. I'll be honest with you guys. It got way too much trolling and energy of drainage. And no. So I created a private space for people to come in, like a sanctuary, kind of like your own private sanctuary online. And I've been living in there, been hiding in there a little bit, I'll be honest, because it was so intense. And I knew I could do better work with the small amount of people anchoring light, whoever was called in from the summit I did earlier in this year. And so there's been about, 200, now 300 people in the angel head, pretty intimate, holding light for this planet to come into its highest states of diamond earth consciousness. Diamond earth, again, meaning the new earth consciousness. This diamond age is the greatest age of angelic awakening we've ever seen. And angelic awakening means people coming into the knowing that they are in service to not only themselves, but all of humanity. And the only way to really come into your angelic nature is to understand you are always in service to the light. Okay? So the language of light that wants to come through today is going to be beautiful, because it's going to bring you into alignment with your own angelic soul. I'm going to do a transmission here in a moment, and you're going to feel what this feels like. According to that bell, corner of that phone. Something's calling. Angels are calling. Okay. Yes, they are. The joy card came up. Yes, they are. Oh my goodness. They're flying out now. They're very excited. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Not crazy. Knowing that it's all for the highest. Okay. Beautiful. Anything else? I kind of know when I need to stop, but I'll know it when I know it, kind of thing. There we go. I knew there was one more. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, as I mentioned, hopefully you can still hear me because my mic just dropped. All right. Stav, thank you for the answer. I mean, the question. I don't know that I have all the answers tonight in one session, unfortunately, time for that. But she asked, what are the messages regarding the crown of thorns? What lessons are here for us to evolve on individual and collective levels? How can we be of service to oneself and humanity? So for those of you who don't know what the crown of thorns is, the crown of thorns is essentially what I mean by the havoc is this energy that keeps hitting our halo. Halo, you would think here. Think of a crown of thorns. It's like jagged and painful. It's what keeps like causing headaches and all this stuff that people are feeling. So the messages regarding that originally came in with this understanding that it was the corona, right? This virus that we've talked about before in other sessions that I've done. And the updates on that really are, we are the virus. We are creating it. We are the problem. We are the dis-ease. It is our consciousness. And until we can come into clarity of that, until we can come into alignment with love only, we will continue to create distortions that will continue to cause us to come more into our hearts and care more about each other, not just ourselves. We had gotten to a place where there was way too much narcissism, way too many selfies, way too many look at me's, way too much of that. And not enough about caring about each other. And our children were suffering for this. So our children were coming into a place where they were looking into black screens that were filled with different colors of lights and programs. But underneath all that is a black screen. And you can look into black screens and what that means, but fundamentally, let's just say it is not of the light, not the highest light. And so my invitation, in fact, during Angelic Summit 2020 earlier this year was to connect again. If you watched, in fact, for those of you who purchased the summit, you will find a massive stream from the angels that came in preparing us. They were preparing us very prophetically. And they were saying, pay attention to each other, spend more time together, eat dinners together. They were showing us what we were going to have to be forced to do. And when we don't get the message, we get the wrecking ball. And we kind of created that. And we've created this as humanity because we're obstinate and stubborn. We like it the way we like it. And we don't want to change. But change is inevitable. And change is coming and continuing to come. And we will continuously evolve and adapt to it. And we're going to be okay. But if we think we can hold on to history all the time and keep holding on to things, then we are missing the reason we came into human form to begin with. It is an evolution of consciousness. So my belief and my knowing right now is it's up to us. There are some who believe that there will be a reboot of this virus. But again, that's going to depend on us. If we can shift it, that timeline doesn't have to anchor in. So this is why I'm coming in. This is why I'm inviting everybody to shift their consciousness immediately to higher states of being, to higher results, higher imaginings, higher love. Because if we keep focusing on the pain and the trauma, that's what we'll repeat, right? Indefinitely until we get it. So that's the main message. As far as lessons for here to evolve in individual and collective levels, I would just say there's always a micro to the macro. Everything you're seeing in the world, if it triggers you and it causes you pain and dis-ease and disruption and anything that you are not neutral to 100%, if there's something that upsets you deeply, it's an invitation for you to go deeper into the heart space of who you are and go, okay, where is this coming from? Go excavating into yourself. Go dig for diamonds in yourself and find the pain in there maybe that needs to go out, or anything else. All right. I often get questions from people. How can you be neutral to these people who are making really bad decisions for humanity? Let's just take the man in the Oval Office, because a lot of people have a lot of charge on him. First of all, I don't call him by name. I don't give him energy unless I know 100% what his agenda is. And what I'm going to say with him, my best guesstimate right now, based on what I tune into, is he's a multiple personality individual. So you're not dealing with somebody who is 100% behind the vehicle at all times. And the vehicle that he's driving is definitely not a Bugatti supercar kind of angelic vehicle. It's still running at a slower pace than that old paradigm consciousness. So he has an aspect that could have good intentions. He has an aspect that could have self-serving intentions. He has an aspect that, I mean, we're looking at maybe 7 personalities, right? Okay, so guys, be aware. Be aware. You might think you have it all figured out, and you might not. You know, I know a lot of light workers who say, oh, he's a light worker. I'm like, really? Really? Okay. And I get it. There's an aspect in there that does have a heart, that is connected to a son who's autistic, that does have things going on, that has certain consciousness, all right, that has a certain way of getting out of the way for other beings that want to come in and do certain decisions. But I will say, be aware. Check again. And I would also say, if you think that you're going to come from a place of righteousness to the other party, the blue beings, let's call them, there's corruption there too. Absolutely. And I'm going to say it's impossible to be in politics today without corruption. You've had to work your way, claw your way through so many states of consciousness. To just get to a place of power means you've compromised something along the way, and that's going to eat at you. That's going to eat at your system and cause disruption and corruption and distortion. So again, this leaves us kind of like, well, what do we do, stuff? And this is why I say, don't worry about anybody getting into office, honestly. Worry about the final outcome of what you desire and deserve to see and witness. What would be your biggest dream and vision for this planet and its people? In service to self, yes, but in service to humanity as a whole. The service to self is to make sure you take care of your body, you eat the right foods, you drink the right things, you get the toxins out, you love yourself enough. Can't sacrifice it for anybody, okay? But service to humanity does come from that service to self-love. And the power to visualize what you really want to see. Do you want to see people just fighting all the time, back and forth every 4 years, not really helping anybody out but themselves? That's really what the corruption's about. So, come into your heart. Come back into the simpleness. Let go of the complexity. And watch the thorns fall away and return to your halo self. Hello. Back to me. All right. So, how can you be of service? Love yourself more. All right? Love yourself more. So the first thing that came up is Soul Song. These have messages of light direct transmissions. It's a beautiful artist. I keep like angling them, trying to get you guys the clearest vision. I know it's like off a little. Trying to look and see. Sing from your heart. Transmit from your soul. All right? If you are a singer, if you're an orator or speaker, make sure the heart's online. Make sure it's on board. Make sure you're not always left brain thinking, okay? Always logical, rational, and control. Let go of the control. Come from here. It is safe. It is time. This is your most powerful tool to hit the mark called love. All right? Soul Songs on. Soul Songs activated. Soul mating. Okay, so for those of you who are all into the complexities of the twin flame experience, let's talk about twin flames. This came up actually in Halo this week too. Ooh, look at that color. Ooh, pretty. Okay, so what is this person soulmating with? Their higher heart self, their higher angelic, that aspect of them that is their twin, that is their connection. This is the only twin that's important to you. Everybody else, that is a soulmate, that is an angelic flame. They're here to help you transmute and go into higher elevations and evolve into higher states of consciousness. I love them. And know that they come in and they leave on purpose and in purpose always. And if they ever return, it's because vibrationally, that's how it's designed. And when you trust your higher self to know exactly where you're supposed to be and what relationships you're supposed to be in, and you follow your heart will always lead you. Even in those relationships, you're like, why am I dating this person? Your heart knows. Your heart knows. Your heart knows this person is the exact narcissist you need to partner up with to clear out your own inner narcissist that keeps attracting narcissists because you don't think you have a narcissist inside you because you're such an empathic, sensitive person. How could you have one? Well, because you created one in order to survive it. Because usually you have one in your family. So that's another story we're not going to get into tonight, but I'm just going to tell you lots going on in you. And so relationships will always be there to serve you. And so right now, a lot of you are soulmating up. That means you're going to meet soulmates. You're going to meet soul tribe. You're going to meet people who are going to elevate your angelic frequency. It's beautiful times. Let's focus on beautiful times. Let's stop focusing on all the other stuff. Ooh, new love possibly coming in. Awesome. Pay attention to that. Don't let any corona crown that's a little disheveled and thorny get in your way of connection. It's important. Connection's important. All right. Why? Because of joy. Look at the joy. Oh my goodness. Look at the regality of this joy. So we're looking at the Star of David in 2D, but really this is the Merkaba or diamond heart collapsed within sovereign union. When we are in full joy, sovereign state, sovereign union is when our masculine and feminine within ourselves comes into balance. So that element of joy can come fully online because we're so happy because we are masters of soulcraft. Okay, now soulcraft is what I would also call the angelic arts and sacred sciences. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time staying in frame. Interestingly, you'll notice similar kind of regal nature, but now that diamond heart has gone into full light. So joy will expand your diamond heart light. All right. If you want to learn more about your diamond heart, I do have a program, 8 modules online, Angelic Academy. Start there. That's where everybody has to start in order to work with me anyway. So you might as well. All right. Expansion. So now once we get our heart online, we practice our angelic soul. Oh, look at all these colors. That aqua's coming in. I'm so loving it. That's the higher angelic heart. Okay. 44 expansion. 44 expansion. So the harmony of the 8, the infinity gate. I've been seeing 44s all over the place this week. So we are coming into this diamond heart as it goes up and expands above us, and we match up to the higher diamond hearts of source. All right. This is where we align and attune and expand our consciousness, and we become architects. You want to become an angelic architect, this is how you do it. You expand outside of just the little u version and go big, quantum. So that is quantum expansion happening. It's already happening because we're already here, and I'm so excited because we're doing Q&Angels, and so this is happening right now, and that's the confirmation. So thank you, angels. And finally, soul name. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to figure out why I can't. There we go. It's the left-right brain thing, okay? Soul name. What is your soul name? Your soul name is what I call your angelic soul keys, the original codes or codex of your soul, of your light, your living light. Physical, emotional, and intellectual is what informs this system, but then there's the soul that comes from that. So I do angelic soul key sessions. They're initiation sessions, and they are intense, but they are worth it. So what I would say for everybody right now, as we move into these quantum times, these Q times, okay? Q is for quantum. We are coming into a quantum financial system. Yes, a little calibration there. We are coming into quantum systems overall because we are moving into our quantum mindset or heart set or heart-mind coherence, really. And you've seen signs of this. I mean, Dr. Joe Dispenza's work of becoming supernatural. There's a lot of people out there that are teaching this in different types of ways. I just teach it through the angelic because to me, it is the most refined, pure light of source, God, love, vibrating into the planet today that informs everything, including galactic cosmic beings. So if you guys are really into that, that's great. But again, go higher. Okay, get to who creates them, all right? And it is the informational living light consciousness that is informing everything. So I'm going to give you guys a little sample of what this feels like when you are connected into this living light frequency. This is something that I don't often do publicly in this way. I have done it before. But they're asking me to do that. And they're asking me to do that to bring in this harmony, to bring all the questions that have been left unanswered still in space so that we will bring it in for next month. But just know we got to the ones that we're looking to be answered tonight. What I work with as a regulator of my frequency was a master being of angelic arts and sciences known as Magdalene. It is a consciousness of the watchtower, the Migdal, which is essentially the amygdala of the brain. And it is management or governor or governess, in her case, of our cranial nerves that spread the word. Some of you might know it in the Christian communities. But what I want to say is we are dismantling all dogmas, all religions eventually. I'm just going to be honest. We are moving into something that works for us individually and collectively as a whole in unified consciousness. So any religion that separates, any religion that says, my religion's right, yours is wrong, right? That's pretty much any of the Abrahamic traditions, of course. You're going to see them kind of fade into the mist in time. I'm just being honest with you guys. Now, that doesn't mean that you let go of all of, your connections of love. It doesn't mean you can't hold your stories. I'm just going to say that there's going to be certain things that come in that will dismantle those as organizations, organized religion. And I would also say the dogmatic consciousness that puts you in an us and them or a separation of your sovereignty, split nations within yourself, not going to work. Anything like that really is not going to work. So I would highly, the probability of our governments that are doing that will probably also have to be recalibrated. But let's just stick to tonight. Okay. Going into frequency, what I do as a stream of living light is I have trained for many years to tune into source, to pick the frequencies that will harmonize groups, that will give them the most upliftment of energy. And what I also do is ask Magdalene, because this is something she did in her lifetime and what she was a master of. By the way, Mary just means master in Aramaic. So Mare, Magdalene, or Magdalata, was a title of mastery of someone who could harness and deliver and transmit frequencies of sovereign source, of the source streams of consciousness, of God, of love, and of angels. So I'm going to tune into her consciousness, her element, and she is actually multiple people, but we'll leave that for another day. Okay, leaning back. So what I do is I tune and align to the frequency of Magdalene, the Magdalene energy. And as a Magdalene mystic, what I do is I ask this frequency of consciousness to regulate the currencies that are going to come through my body as transmissions. And these transmissions, I am going to translate into living light language that is not discernible by any specific word language, like meaning English, Palladian, doesn't matter. Whatever you think it might be, it's not, because it's actually packets of pure light frequency of angelic source that are here to serve as codes, and they come in as packets of light. Now, they will have an Aramaic tone at times, what you might feel like almost Middle Eastern at times. They might also sound Polynesian at times, Native American at times. It's mixed. And the reason it's mixed is because it's the pure light frequency of language that is before it becomes language. So it's almost like I'm basically speaking what numbers would be ultimately if they were just kind of HTML code. How do I explain it? And I was just reading the code. So I'm just code reading. All right, so we're going to do diamond light codes. These codes are going to come into your field as a living transmission. They are going to harmonize you, bless you, neutralize you from anything and everything that was created here tonight. And you are going to go into your next experience. Maybe it's bed, whatever it is, with just a lot of grace and ease and love. So here we go. Oh, one more thing she's saying. Okay, thank you. If you are in need of healing your heart, healing your body, any aspect of your body, I invite you to target these areas by just holding love, holding light, the imaginational of your mind in an area. Let's say it's your heart. Just see a sphere of white light or a bubble of white light. You might see a small sphere, large sphere, however large you want to see it in a specific area of your body. If you had a swollen knee, for instance, you might see a big sphere over your knee and your heart. Anywhere, target your body in this moment. Just visualize these up. And let's begin. Thank you, my God. Halati ju zakati reti shakasi halatashi mareti watika saha mareki tashina halaiti malkuta shani kaneshana dashikana sani latishana hateni tushoko so halatishakana sa halete tutoshani kasani haleti shani manasi Mele dujuna, mele digajani, sana haleti kushuna halatasi hele, kani jani tasi, horeti kana punashi. Wati, watika, menijati sono, manijati kana sheni, horuta sani leti shono kana seni, mereti kana shahato, jate wati shana. Oto shani kanashine sono shani kono shekina lati hate mate ona. Okay, short but sweet. All right, I hope that hit your heart in all the right places. The love that she has, the love that is from the angels as well, is that they are here to support us in every way. They are here to guide us in every way. They are here to love us in every way. It is just up to us to let them in, to align to them, to harmonically accept that we are sacred, that we are vessels for them once and for all. And if we can do that more, if we can love ourselves more in every way, I'm working on this myself, guys. There's a lot that I do that gives myself away to people, give my energy away. So I'm learning to reclaim, make sure I take care of myself in every way. So I invite all of you light workers to do the same. If you are sacrificing yourself for others, if you are burning yourself out, stop, restart, reset, restore, right? Just take a minute and focus on love. Focus on all that you are already. Be grateful for life. The gratitude of life and the forgiveness of others are the greatest keys we have right now to get through all that is quantum ascension. If you want to know what is the fastest way to the next level, a lot of you guys who follow that idea of 3D and 5D, okay, or what I call violet to diamond earth, it is getting into hyper neutrality, getting into the neutral zone, getting into that center point, getting to that 0 point of love and compassion and forgiveness, operating from pure love, not detachment. When I say neutrality, it's not detachment. It's not caring about people. It is caring about them so much that you are not going to jump into their nightmare with them and feed their energies. Those energies are like monkeys that they keep feeding bananas to. And those monkeys are not going to go away. They're only going to grow to like big gorillas. They're not careful. Okay. So you don't want to be there giving them your super high protein bananas, high potassium. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you have that frequency. If you're tuning into this right now, you already do because you just got some more. So just be aware of what you give your energy to. What are you spending your money on? That is the currency of your heart, if you will. Because money is that frequency of currency as well. So you have your own currency. What are you spending it on? Okay, think about that. And what are you valued at? And if you're not valuing yourself, look at that too. All right. I think we are complete in this transmission. I thank you all for being here, for being Diamond Angels in human form, for being part of this transmission called Q&Angels, this reboot or remastering of Q&Angels. And we will be bringing this remastering in every month. I think the next one will be October 20th, I believe, but check angelicacademy.com to double check on that calendar. And I will say that for all of you who are the Diamond Angels in the Halo, thank you for being here. Thank you for holding counsel with us. Thank you for bringing your light, your wisdom, your greatness, your love. Thank you, Stav, my beautiful wing woman, for being here just out of surgery. I can't even believe you're here, but thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Oh, send her so much light. Little surgery, nothing crazy, but you know, just a little soreness in the throat right now. So she's clearing that chakra. We could send her some love for that. Thank you. And if this resonates with you, if any of these teachings resonate with you, if you are ready to get out of the duality consciousness of us and them, and less and more, and all of it, okay? Just know it's just about frequency. The only more you want to get is higher light. Higher light, that's all. Then angelicacademy.com. All right, angelicacademy.com is the place to go. So you can visit that. And that's where you'll find me. That's where you'll find the bridge into the angelhood. The angelhood is the private community, the social community, basically a social network or social sphere, as I like to call it, circle within circles within circles, where you can connect with other angels like you, like people who are here from the heart, that want to level up, that want to hold light for each other. And they share pictures of what inspires them, whether that's nature, pets, whatever. You know, they share things that are uplifting, stories. And I invite all of you who want to share your story to come in, share your medicine with us, share your transmission. We love you. All right. We love you in advance, and we know who you are. So thank you. Thank you, all of you, for being here. Anything that might have been perceived as judgment, understand it's discernment right now. It's opinions, I guess you could say, of my own, but also just giving you some direction. But it's held in this halo so that it's not informing anything that was spoken about. That's the beauty of creating a halo first. So just remember, watch, see how your light leaders are operating. How are they practicing what they do versus just telling stories? All right? Be mindful of that. I love you. I am you. We are one, right? Be well. Blessings in every way. Blessings in your heart. Peace in your soul. And I will see you soon. If you want to join the Halo every week, you can do a little bit more of this each week. Get a little bit of that angelic accountability, or have a personal trainer for your angel side. Get some angel gains. Then you can go into the Halo at the Angelic, angelicacademy.com, or the Angelhood. Actually, Angelhood is the direct link into the Halo. my private circle of angelic alchemy and living light. So we will see you soon. Much blessings. Join the Angelhood as well, and find us on Facebook. And that's it. Find us on Facebook. I think you're already on YouTube, so subscribe to YouTube. You'll get notified of the next Angels 911, which is on 10/10. All right, that's also a monthly. So I have 2 monthlies right now going, and we will keep them up as long as you're interested. All right, so that's it. That's all I got. 809. We almost made the 808. We're at the 809. So blessings. Let me just check the comments. Let's just take a quick, let's just take a thing. Okay, Rosemary says she's now at 10. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rosemary. All right, bringing you Rose in. How many of you feel a little lighter? Where's your energy at? Where's your frequency at? Let's talk vibration for a minute. Whoever's left here, put in your numbers. I'm just curious. We'll just wait for the numbers. And this is again in the live chat. For those of you watching on demand, you can find this under live chat because we're watching the live chat right now. So I see a 10 from Rosemary. Pamela's coming in with some light sparkles and diamonds. Is there a number for that? Is there a number? Stav, what's your number at? Jeanette's a 10. Okay, beautiful. Just feeling your loves. Thank you so much. Such gratitude. It's all about gratitude. Thank you for your questions too. Thank you for those of you who ask questions. And I know that we'll get better at this as we go. More people will find it, and we'll have much more dynamic questions coming in that'll help all of us. So it'll be really fun. We're just getting it started. Okay, so Jeanette says, I'm higher at a 10 from an 8 at the beginning. Got it. Stav's at a 12. Got it. Okay, beautiful. So we got some temps up. We got some frequency up. That's perfect. All right, now we are ready to go. It is 8:11. It is a portal number. Perfect. So we will leave you. I love you. I'll see you soon, and hopefully inside of the Angelhood and beyond. Big hugs. Oh, the hug angel. That's me. Big hugs. Love you. Bye.